Alfie Holland probably had a lot of things going through his mind on his way to seeing his son play Manchester United in the FA Cup final. But what happened to him on the train back was definitely not one of them. It's fair to say Erling Haaland and his father have loved life at Manchester City so far. The treble last season in the Premier League this season, it doesn't get much better than that. And with Haaland scoring as many goals as he is, it doesn't look like anything's going to change. But it had to have hurt when Alfie had to go back to Manchester in a train full of victorious United fans chanting all sorts of stuff, including the name of the guy who ended his career. Manchester United just beat Manchester City 2-1 in the FA Cup final, and the fans loved every second of it. The atmosphere at Wembley was electric, with United fans celebrating their 13th FA Cup title. Goals from Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho sealed the win, despite Jeremy Doku getting one back late on. This win was particularly sweet for United fans, given the fierce rivalry between the two Manchester clubs. Winning the FA Cup against their city rivals added an extra layer of joy and satisfaction, especially after how dominant Manchester City's been in recent years. Perhaps Erik ten Hag's the man to lead them into the future, but that's not what the fans were thinking that night. They had just won the FA Cup and it was not time to celebrate. The celebrations didn't stop at Wembley. On the train ride back home, the United fans were still buzzing with excitement. And to make matters worse, Erling Haaland's dad, Alfie Haaland, was on the train with them. Imagine what that train ride would have been for Alfie. He went to Wembley with City favorites thinking he would be celebrating with his son. But instead, he was going home alone in a bus full of United fans. And if that wasn't bad enough, the fans seized the moment to chant Roy Keane's name, referencing the infamous tackle that ended Alfie's career. Football fans are known for their passion, but sometimes that passion could lead to crossing the line, and taunting a former player about a career-ending injury is probably one of those times. It's a reminder of the sometimes harsh and unforgiving nature of football fandom, where the lines between banter and insensitivity can blur. But Alfie's probably heard enough about that tackle to be angered by a bunch of drunk fans. Despite the taunts, Alfie Haaland maintained his composure, showing a level of dignity and resilience in the face of provocation. He just turned his face the other way and shook his head. That's a pretty down-to-earth thing to do for a man whose son is one of the best players in the world right now. The worst part is, this isn't the first time we've seen football fans be disrespectful to players and the sport in general. There are moments in football that are simply too personal or dark to be the subject of banter. Yet that doesn't always stop some fans. Football has a long history of fans making insensitive remarks about tragedies and personal losses. There have been instances where fans have mocked tragedies like the Hillsborough disaster, where 96 Liverpool fans lost their lives, or the plane crash that took the life of Emiliano Sala. These are moments of profound loss and grief, yet they've been turned into taunts by rival fans. The incident with Alfie Haaland is another such example. While the fans' excitement and jubilation were understandable, bringing up the career-ending tackle by Roy Keane was a step too far. That tackle was not just a foul, it was an event that had serious long-term consequences for Haaland's career and life. But what exactly did the taunts mean? Well, to understand the significance of the taunts directed at Alfie Haaland, we need to revisit the moment that ended his career. The infamous tackle by Roy Keane in 2001 is etched in football history. While playing for Leeds United, Haaland had previously accused Keane of faking an injury during a match in 1997. Roy was actually injured that day, and after a long way back from injury, Keane, harboring a grudge, waited for his moment of revenge. His chance came in the Manchester Derby, and Keane seized his opportunity. With a brutal knee-high tackle, he brought Haaland down. The tackle didn't just end Haaland's day, it effectively ended his career. Although Haaland played a few more games afterward, he was never the same, and the injury led to his early retirement. This moment had far-reaching consequences, not just for Alfie Haaland's career, but also for his family. It's widely believed that this incident influenced Erling Haaland's decision to join Manchester City, seeing it as a way to fulfill a legacy interrupted by injury. For Alfie, every match his son plays in a City shirt is a step towards redemption, making the taunts about the injury even more poignant and painful. Erling Haaland wearing a Manchester City shirt is more than just a professional achievement. It's a deeply personal journey tied to his father's legacy. Alfie Haaland's career was prematurely cut short, but through Erling, the Haaland name continues to shine in the football world. And Erling's doing a pretty good job of keeping his father's head held high. This makes Erling's success at City incredibly meaningful for both father and son. Despite the painful memories of his own career's abrupt end, Alfie must feel immense pride watching Erling's meteoric rise. Since joining Manchester City, Erling Haaland's become one of the most prolific strikers in world football. His goal-scoring record is astonishing, and he's played a crucial role in City's recent successes, including winning the Premier League and contending in the Champions League. Even though Manchester City didn't win the FA Cup this season, Erling's achievements are already remarkable. For Alfie, seeing his son thrive in the same sport as him makes having to face all these taunts worth it. Honestly though, he was probably just thinking about how this was the only chance United fans were going to get to celebrate a win against City in a long time. Because, no offense to United fans, Manchester City are just on another level.